just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. When the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face, when someone else instead of me always seems to know the way, then I look at you and the world's all right with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. When the day that lies ahead of me seemed impossible to face, and when someone else instead of me always seems to know the way, then I look at you and the world's all right with me. I just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day.
Oh my Lord. It is a lovely day, Harry. Like, there's no rain right now. It'll be rain in a minute, but right now there's no rain. Oh, it's Friday. Do-do-do, 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 do-do. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. You know why? You know what? Listen. There's a lot of sadness in the world right now. You know, Kate Spade died, and Anthony Bourdain died yesterday. Committed suicide. And I think now, Harry, we have to have bigger conversations about what's happening with people, and really reaching out to people and supporting them, even when we see them and they seem seemingly fine. That we really must avail ourselves to our sisters and brothers out there on a regular basis. You know, if you've got a circle of friends, check in with your circle of friends, and don't accept fine. Like, if they're fine, they're fine. Like, don't create problems where there aren't any problems. But, you know, listen to what they're saying and what they're not saying. You know, it's particularly if you know they are surrounded with some struggle. So we got to be kinder and better to each other. We got to be each other's keeper. We have to. That's the only way we're gonna survive, Harry. We gotta check in on each other. I'm gonna call you Harry when I think something's up. I say, Harry, what's going on?
It's mental health issues are hard. You know,
that's fine. They can be hard. Doesn't mean we can't tackle them.
To support people on when they don't let on what's really going on the inside.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But that doesn't mean we can't try.
Because I was watching MSNBC this morning, and
what? You watch something other than Fox and Friends?
Oh no, I watched Morning Joe.
Oh.
What's his name?
I don't watch that show.
Anyway, so they were talking about an interview that they had done with him and how he just seemed bigger than life. He was so happy in his environment and what he was doing, and you really don't know what's happening on the inside.
And that's probably all true. You know, because we're all, believe it or not, people, and people will argue this point with me, we're all paradoxical. There can be things that are equally true in our lives at the same time. We can be happy and sad, right? I love my kids. I can't stand my kids. It's this. We are all paradoxical. Two things can be true. Maybe three things, four things can be true in our lives at the same time.
Right. And he was talking because he has, I think, an 11-year-old.
Oh, does he? I
left
don't
behind, yeah.
know.
And he was saying how she had changed his life. So I'm saying, you know, how you really, somebody who is in love with somebody, you know, a child, and you just don't see somebody being sad enough to
Kill themselves.
To kill themselves in spite of what's going good in their life.
Yeah. Well, listen, that's the dark, you know, darkness is, you find yourself on that corner of despair and hopelessness. Despair and hopelessness is a corner. And some of us have stood on that corner longer than others. Yeah. Right? So it's hard to get to walk around the corner to hope.
And it's all relative, right?
Yes.
To the person experiencing it, because you wouldn't think people, oh, they're rich, they're this, they're that. What problems can they have? But they have their own problems.
Money don't, listen.
It doesn't solve anything.
It doesn't solve a damn thing. Right?
It helps you pay your bills.
It helps you pay your, it makes some things easier, but the everyday struggles of life transcend race, gender, economic status, all of that. We all feel sad. We all know heartache. We all know heartbreak. We all know all kinds of emotions that are common. They're unique in your own life, but they're common to us all. You know, and that, you know, when you stand on the corner of despair and hopelessness, you think you're the only one on that block.
Yeah.
You think you're the only one.
Yeah, you're an island to yourself. It's just, and you really don't see the shore from where you are, that island you're on.
Right. Can't see past it.
You can't see past it.
It's like the people who believe the world is flat. You just can't see the horizon. You just can't see the horizon. You're like, what?
What?
Like, what? The world is flat. No, the world ain't flat.
All you gotta do is look at pictures.
You just gotta travel a little, like. Like there's no edge, right? You're not gonna fall off, and you know, it keeps us on gravity, like.
But it is sad. It's just it's such a sad thing.
It is heartbreaking because everybody around. And listen, Harry, as somebody who has stood on the corner of despair and hopelessness, who has attempted suicide in my life, I get it. And you think about the people and I've got kids, right? I got kids who are still relatively young. They're not adults. So I get it. You know, when I'm well and I think about that, it's overwhelming to think that I could even think that. But when I am not well, Harry, it seems like the only option. Right? It just seems like a good idea.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing. It's like that's why it's just, how do you get around?
Yeah.
Mental illness is not an easy thing.
It's not.
It's not something we're gonna solve by passing a law.
Yeah.
You know?
And I don't think people are advocating for laws. I think people are advocating for, let's have the conversation about how can we help each other. Did you know I learned, Harry, that more women attempt suicide, but more men are successful at it. And I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting.
You know, 45% of the people who commit suicide is about some relationship kind of thing. 45%. You know, you get into despair, right? Like if something goes awry or bad or whatever. So I was just paying attention to the statistics this morning. And do you know that suicide is up in the United States, I think 25%?
A lot. I mean, I haven't looked. I'm going to look at the article. It's on the New York Times front page today, I think it is, they said. So the graph is over the last I don't know, 20 years, we've
Yeah.
we've like
Yeah.
jumped up
25%.
drastically.
Yeah.
It's just insane. It's like we're sadder now.
Yeah, I know.
In the last 20 years. It's just like,
Harry, I was like, what is happening? And I listen, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it.
the pressures in life change.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be that if you lived a simple life, it was enough. And now the pressures of this different technological life and always on the go, it's just different for people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have no idea. It's just like Anthony Bourdain, Robin Williams. You
Yeah.
see these people who are bigger than life, their personalities.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself, wow, they entertain the people they're with so much that there's no way to see the sadness
Yeah.
inside, but there's great sadness in these people.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And I try to relate it to me because I'm a pessimistic person, but I never get.
But you're not a sad person.
I'm not a sad person. I don't get high or low.
Yeah.
You know, so I just never understand the peaks and valleys.
Yeah. See, I know how to be very high, and when I'm low, it's to the depths.
Right. And
it scares me, the lowness, the depths of which I can drown in, but I've learned over the years to have tools. I have a toolkit of how to save myself, but listen, we're gonna come back and talk about this some more. Right now, I'm gonna play. I think the music's gonna reflect strength today, like not strength like as opposed to weakness, but finding strength. Like, listen, I'm gonna play some Earth, Wind and Fire. That always moves me right. You know, sometimes you just need a little earth, wind, and fire. So listen, whoever's out there listening to me today, if you feel like you are in a place of despair, if you're standing on the corner of despair and hopelessness, walk around the corner. Pick up the phone, call somebody. Call 911. There is a hotline that you can call. There's a suicide choose life hotline. I'm gonna pull that up and find that for people, because listen, standing on the corner of despair and hopelessness is momentary, and whatever you got going on, it'll pass, and it's temporary. Everything is temporary. Breathing in and breathing out is temporary. The breath out is temporary. The breath in is temporary. 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. And if you're hearing me, and I know a lot of y'all listen to me because you run up on me on the grocery store and on the green and in the credit union and on Facebook and all that other stuff. So I know you're listening. Don't stand alone on the corner of despair and hopelessness. Don't do it. You know, I've been on that corner more times than I could tell anybody. More times than I have gone as far as wrote letters to everybody that I loved and was ready, was ready. As I was in the lowest possible place. I don't even know if you can get lower than that. So I know what that's like to sit in the dark and can't breathe and can't think and everything is closing in on you and you just like, I just can't tell anybody. Like, who am I gonna tell? What am I gonna say? You know, so I know what that's like. So today, you know, I'm waiting life out. Today I feel like I could wait life out, Harry, right? I'm like, well, I'm gonna do you life. I'm gonna wait you out. But there are people right now who can't wait life out. Who feel like they can't wait life out. And that they're sitting on the edge. They're sitting on the edge, Harry. And I just want them to know there's help available. You know, you extend your hand, somebody will pull you up. Somebody, you know. I know those dark spaces. I remember I was so close. I was at the edge and my children were in the bed sleeping. And I had made my decision. I had written my letters and they were addressed in envelopes. And I was sitting in my bed and I was crying and but I was clear. I was clear that this was the course of action I needed to take. And I heard my youngest daughter say, "Mommy, I need you. Mommy, I need you," in the dead of night. So I jump out the bed and I run down the hall. She was just sleeping. She was not doing anything. She wasn't even awake. And I thought, I can't do this. God is speaking to me. I can't do this. I heard my kid as clear as day. And I go down the hall to see what's the matter. She's asleep. And I move her. Like, hey. And she's like, "Hi, Mommy." I was like, "Are you okay, Bean?" "Yeah, Mommy, I'm sleepy." I was like, "Okay." And I go back to my room and I look at the letters and Harry, it was as if I was a different person. It was as if I was like, how could I even, what was I about to do? I was about to do something that would have changed the course of everybody's lives. Everybody who knows me, everybody who I'm connected to, it would have changed everybody's life in those moments had I made that a different decision than get up out of the bed and go see about my child who was sleeping. So when I tell you I stood on the corner of despair and hopelessness, I've stood on the corner of despair and hopelessness. And so I don't know what Kate Spade was feeling, because she got a teenager and a husband who loved her and they've been together and she had $1 billion and you know, we sit here like, what, girl, you got $1 billion? The last thing I'm going to do, but you don't know. You don't know what demons people fight with.
And that's the thing. They have people who love them and everything. It's not.
Right. They're like not without love and support. And
it's just that feeling of being alone, but they're not alone. That's why it's a mental disorder.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why people need to speak about it.
Speak about it.
Because it's something you're feeling that's not not real, but it's completely
but it's real. Right, Harry. It's not real, but it's completely real. And I'm telling you, those moments when I sat in that bed and I had written all these letters, and I heard my child screaming for me, "Mommy, I need you, I need you," and I jump out the bed. When I came back to my room, Harry, after checking on my child, I was a different person. The bubble was broke. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the light came on. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I was just jarred back to myself.
You know, that's a spiritual experience.
I guess. Oh, girl. Oh, Harry, I don't know. I don't know what it was, but
you had that voice.
It jarred
either
me.
From within you or from beyond.
Something.
Jar
God.
you.
God was like, "You stupid. Let me help you. Before you ruin everybody's life. Let me help you now." So, listen. But the point that I'm making is that when you were jarred out of your whatever that is, you're like, whoa, right? Like if somebody jars you out of that, like if somebody would have knocked on that door when she was putting that scarf up, that might have changed it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, definitely.
all these kinds of things can happen to sort of change the direction of things. You know, death by hanging is difficult. It's not instantaneous.
No. I don't know. I don't know what to say about
There's
that.
some
It's
suffering.
insane.
There's some suffering involved in that.
There's suffering. There's intentional suffering. That's happening there because it's not something you're choosing to do quickly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's intentional suffering, Harry. I'm like, ooh, I don't even know how you.
Yeah.
You know what? We need more. We need more people on this matter. We need people talking about this, and this is what I know. Because there are people out there who are listening to us, Harry, and they'll be like, "I can't identify with Kate Spade. She's." Because they won't see the similarity. All they see is the trappings of her so-called success. We need more people, ordinary people, talking about this, so that people have a connection to, like, it's not just them, it's us. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
right.
It's not just because all they'll see with her is, oh, she's just some rich white woman who was unhappy. No, that's such a small part.
Right.
We need everyday, ordinary people saying, listen. The pain in me has been so great that I thought that I would step off of a building or a bridge or a cliff or take some pills or put a gun to my head or whatever it is, whatever the method is.
Right. And people are also understanding that you may have the tools to get over your whatever, bad thing happens in your life, that dip that everybody feels. Everybody goes through, the ups and downs emotionally, but you may have the tools to deal with those things. It's like driving through fog, right? If you go too fast, you may hit something in front of you. Yeah. But if you slow down and wait it out, you're able to get through the fog.
Yes.
Right?
That's a good analogy, Harry.
And that's what most people do in life. You slow down and you say, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
But some people don't have the tools to do that.
Yes.
And it's understanding that some people don't have the tools.
They don't have the tools. And I think some people don't know how to ask for help. Like, they don't know how to say, something is happening to me. Because sometimes, Harry, people do tell us what's happening with them. And you know what we say to them? Oh, we give them lip service. Oh, pray. And I'm not, listen, I'm not knocking prayer. That's not what I'm saying. But we people do tell us oftentimes.
Oh, you're right. Sometimes we have to listen.
Sometimes we have to say, tell me more about that.
Yeah.
What's going on? Now, I know my squad would do that for me. They'd be like, what's going on? Like, they may accept that I'm fine, but then they would circle back around and be like, listen. And I know this to be true. They'll get with each other and be like, what's up with Babz? Do we need to go over there and stage an intervention? Like, what do we need to do? because I've done that with them. You know, if somebody, you know, if Ife is not feeling well, we all start talking amongst ourselves. Okay, how do we go support Ife? What do we need to do? Should we take her out? What? Should we roll over there, gang bust into her house? What? You know, Benita's not feeling well. What do we need to do? How do we help her? Hey, girl, what's going on? And we stay at it, right? I think that's what we have to do for each other. Like my sister, my blood sister, when she knows that I'm not right, you know what my sister do? She called my brother Robert. She said, Robert, your sister not feeling well. Go over there and see what's going on. Swear to God, that's the chain of command in my family. And if that don't work, they send my brother Mike, who is the big guns. If Mike comes to your house, you know somebody done called him.
So it's good. It's what they do is they make sure that you know somebody's there.
Yes. If they don't hear from me,
Right.
and they know I've been sad, because they know I've had suicidal tendencies, right? So they know. So they get on the phone, and then my sister start orchestrating the universe. You know, like, what's going on? What's going on? And listen, I'm very good about, I've learned in my life to articulate pain and sadness. I know how to do that because I'm always trying to save myself, you know, and it's a very public saving.
See, and it's and I say this because I know I'm the type that isn't empathetic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the times, I'm detached, or I intentionally detach from other people's sorrows because I'm like, oh yeah, part of life. Who doesn't go through that? You know what I'm saying? And you're right. We have to slow down. And like I was saying in the fog, slow down and try to help other people get through the fog.
Yeah. And you know, and I know people who are not touchy feeling, don't want to get in people's, but we have to be each other's saviors, Harry. We can't be each other's assassin. We have to be each other's savior. We've got to put hands on people and be like, I see you, I hear you, and sit with people. This is why I'm a spiritual director, so that I could walk with people on their faith journeys. And
That's always been so hard for me to see people, hear people. But I get it. I totally get it.
Harry, if I called you in the midnight hour, I believe that you would do whatever you could do to walk me through. You'd be annoyed as hell.
Well,
You'd be like, "Oh, Babz, why are you?"
My ringer is off, so don't call me.
Oh, don't call. Listen, y'all, don't call Harry. Harry is not the lifeline.
Yeah, because I don't answer my phone until actually got it on silent mode, so it doesn't turn back on till like 6 in the morning.
Okay, don't call Harry.
Don't call Harry after 10.
Don't call. If you are in crisis, you better get your crisis in at 9:59.
Exactly.
Because Harry is down for the count at 10. Listen, I don't call you after 7 o'clock. I don't send you a text. I don't do anything. I was like, ooh, I'm not messing with Harry. I can't do it. Can't do it because I don't want him yelling at me. So anyway, I just feel that. I just feel it. So,
yeah, life is hard.
Life is hard. Life is joyous. Life is hard. Life is wonderful. Life is struggle. Life is glorious. Life is painful. It's all these things. I don't expect life to be. I don't expect to be one big Soul Train line. I don't.
Yeah.
I do think though that that you've got to wrap yourself. You've got to have people around you who can do what you can't do and who can remind you of your shine and your greatness. Because when you stand on the corner of despair and hopelessness, you have forgotten who you are. So many good things about you goes out of your memory. And everything that you believe that's not true, you believe. So, all right, but you know what? I'm gonna play Listen. I'm gonna go deep. I'm gonna play some Fist Jubilee singers.
Oh, Mary, don't you weep, don't you mourn. Oh, Mary, don't you weep, don't. Oh, Mary, don't.
Okay, I don't really like that. I like the Fist Jubilee singers, but I don't like that. You know what? I'm a find something else that let me see what else I could come through, Harry. We might need some. We might have to go old school. You want to go old school? We're gonna go old school. We're gonna go. Somebody might need this word today. Mahalia Jackson. You have to go old school. Sometimes you gotta go old school, Harry. Sometimes you gotta go straight old school. Mahalia Jackson. Cause you know, it's
Push me, call, I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head.
sometimes you got to get to the edge. You need some Amazing Grace. Sometimes you need Mahalia Jackson to raise you back up. So I got some music for you. So let me play something else because I'm in the mood. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. So. Sometimes you got to go old school when you want to bring the word, right? So that was Sister Rosetta Tharpe and Marie Knight. And, that's some old school stuff right there. But I needed to play it because sometimes you got to go back to go forward. And this is a challenging time that we're in. And everybody can't swim the shore. Everybody doesn't have the strength to swim the shore. So some of us have got to swim out and bring people to shore. Everybody has that ability to do that. We all have the ability to do it. And you know how you save the world? You start in your immediate circle. And in your immediate circle, those folks save people in their immediate circle, and so on and so on. And so everybody is cared for. And we've got to be about the business of caring for people in ways that we have not done so. It is not noble to leave people alone. And we should not find honor in the level of independence that everybody thinks that they are striving for. It is holy to be vulnerable. It is sacred to have friends. And we've got to start believing that and acting accordingly. If you have friends, they better know that you love them. And if you're not saying it, go say it to them today. Call somebody and say, you know what? I was thinking about you. I just want you to know I love you, and I was thinking about you, and let's get together or whatever. Whatever your thing is. Send somebody a note or a text or something and just say, you know what? I'm thinking about you. How you doing? How you doing? I had a good conversation with a girlfriend of mine who lives in San Diego, and we scheduled this time because we're both busy people. So she said we made this appointment because when she was in New York visiting, I got sick and I could not go and see her. And when I have these dairy episodes, it is debilitating. And so I couldn't see her in New York because we had made plans to have lunch, and then I was gonna drop, it's like an hour and a half train ride. So I was going to go see her, and I couldn't. And so she's like, well, I'm not going to be back on the East Coast for a while. I said, but let's schedule some time to talk. And so we put it on our calendars, and like clockwork, we talked for about an hour and a half. And it was a rich conversation because we wanted to catch up, and we gossiped, and we giggled, we laughed, we talked about serious stuff. We checked in. And that's what we have to do. We have to check in. We have to check in. And so if you know people, check in. Even if you think they're reasonably strong, even if they're your touchstone and you go to them for strength, check in on the strong people. check in on the strong people. Just like, hey, listen, people who know me, my whole story, my whole life is played out on social media. Not my entire life, but enough of it where people sort of get a sense that they know what's happening. People know the struggles with my son. People know the struggles I have with incarceration. People know the struggle of all the things, my being trafficked as a child, and sexual exploitation and incest. So people know that about me. That story is very public. I was having a conversation with my good friend Andrew yesterday when we were having lunch the other day, and he was asking me because he gifted me Malcolm Gladwell's masterclass, and I enjoyed that so much. I mean, I am enjoying it. So anyway, there's some homework. There's a project that you have to do, and he was asking me about the project, and I think my project is going to be the exploration of trauma in the body, specifically around sexual assault and abuse, and how we carry that trauma in our bodies. And he asked me about. So people always ask me about how did I survive all that, and I woke up in the middle of the night the other day, Harry, and I realized that survive is not the right word. Like I didn't survive it.
You're surviving.
I don't even know. I don't even know if I'm surviving. It happened, but surviving means that there was some end to it, but there really is no end to it. There's end to the actual physical abuse of things. But the actions and the experience lives within.
Right. That's why you're in the midst of surviving this ordeal.
It freaked me out. I woke up and I was like, I haven't survived.
Yeah.
Like it's not over. It's in my. I guess it's in my DNA now,
it's
right?
part of you.
It's a part of me. Like the abuse is still very much underneath my skin. I was freaked out when I woke up. I was like, oh, God's speaking to me in the midnight hour, Harry. He always get me out of my sleep. That's probably why I don't sleep much.
Yeah, it's God's fault.
I know. Hey, Dallas. How are you? Hey, Julia. Everybody's on Facebook, like, listening in. So I realized that I didn't survive. And that this weight that I carry is the weight that I carry. It's the trauma. I was like, whoa, Lord have mercy. And then, so what do you do about that? How do you undo that? And I think I can unpack some of this at 55 in ways that I couldn't at 25 or 35 or 45 or whatever. It was astonishing to me, Harry, to realize that that stuff is still in me. I was like, whoa. I have to figure out a way to write about that. Not write about it and not cut my wrist. Do you know what I mean? Like, because, when you go back to things, you are opening wounds, old wounds. When you dive in.
Right.
Right?
Definitely. I mean, definitely. Which is
right?
why I don't dive in. Right? And I said this before, I've gone to a psychologist and everything, and she's helped me out greatly, right? Because she says there still is a little Harry who's hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's trying to get,
yes.
who's trying to, still trying to tell the world how he feels.
Yes.
Right? And I'm disassociated from that little guy.
Yeah.
And that's why I disassociate from everything. I detach myself from everything.
Yep.
And it's something that I don't know if I want to ever heal myself from. I prefer to be detached. Right?
That's deep, Harry.
That's deep, right?
But your detachment is not causing you to act out in crazy ways.
Right.
Some people's detachment, Harry, got them doing drugs and all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have that.
Yeah, I always say I'm lucky to. It's funny. Like, I'm lucky to be able to detach myself from everything that I feel, but it really is not. It's not a lucky. It's not a good thing. You would hope to feel more deeply about certain things, and stuff like that. But
listen, I feel all of that. I get it.
It's life.
So listen. If you all are, and I know y'all listen, I know my people at City Hall are listening. I know folks at Yale are listening. I know people are listening. I feel you, and thank you for all the Facebook love that y'all give me. But we have to be kinder to each other. We have to be better to each other. We have to be each other's saviors and not each other's assassins, because we are quick to sort of, people. This is what I find interesting, and I've only learned this because of the work that I do on my own life, because I know my own life. It's easier for people to sort of hurl mean stuff at you than to step to somebody and say, you know what, I love you, I care for you, I wanna see you win. It's hard for people to do that because it's standing
really
in
hard.
a vulnerable place, and I don't know what it is that people don't like the vulnerable place.
Right there, you just said it's a vulnerable place. I hate that weakness. I hate being in that place of weakness. It makes me feel trapped all over again. Mm-hmm. I hate revisiting a feeling of being trapped. Yeah. Vulnerable in the presence of someone else. So
listen, I told you, the last 2 years I had been working in my own vulnerability, and I had made a pact with myself that I would be vulnerable in all manner of things. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if I feel like I'm being nailed to the cross, I got to do it. So if I love you, I'm going to tell you I love you. If you hurt me, I'm going to tell you you hurt me. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be trustworthy. I'm going to be all those things. It's not about you. It's about how I'm choosing my own happiness. Because I can't, listen, I did a lot of shadow work. I lived in the shadows. I lived with a lot of foolishness. I've done a lot of foolishness. Listen, That's
I
not
think,
what.
I think your trainer's here.
Hey,
but
trainer.
But he's hiding
Why are
behind
you
the wall
hiding?
over there.
Come sit down. You're on in 10 minutes. Hello. No, you can sit out there until I get off. This is my first show. I finished this one up. All right, so Robert Fulton is here. We're gonna talk about training and health and this is my playground. 5:00 in the morning, I'm on his playground. This is my playground. So he's coming here to hang out. So I know y'all are tuned in, y'all. I see y'all on Facebook. Hey. So I'm gonna play some more music. Harry, this was a good conversation today. Listen. Get the help that you need, everybody. Hold your friends sacred. Be each other's savior and not each other's assassin.
Yeah, let's try that.
We can be good to each other. We can. We just have to do it. So, all right, I'm going to play us out with some more. Because, I'm feeling this gospel thing. I'm going to play us out with some Karen Clark shared. I don't know my gospel music like that. This might get my black card revoked. Because I don't know the contemporary gospel people. I know my Mahalia Jacksons and my Mighty Clouds of Joy. I know all that.
Those are the easy ones.
Yeah, those. I know a few Kirk Franklin tunes. So I'll be back on the other side.